Hello everyone and welcome to week 5 of English 120. This week you're going to begin by watching the lecture. Good job, you're already doing it. You're going to be reading some selections from the Bedford Researcher, chapters 6 and 15. I'm going to give you an introduction to your research project that's going to take the entire semester. I'm also going to give you an introduction to our novel, Whose Names Are Unknown, and you'll be asked to read the foreword and the author's note. Then we'll have a discussion about Whose Names Are Unknown in our English 95 class at 6 p.m. on Monday night. And then afterwards, I will post a discussion forum where you will participate with your classmates talking about these selections from Whose Names Are Unknown. You will be turning in your research topic paper. And before that, you have a small research journal where you're going to be searching for databases. And then you'll also complete your online research unit quiz after going through all the content. I know it's a lot this week. So just to begin, we are going to begin reading Whose Names Are Unknown this week. Hopefully you have your copy like me. You're going to read the introduction, the foreword, which looks like this, okay, and the author's note. Remember, you will be reading this actively. That means you will have your pen ready and you will be actively reading it. We will be talking about it in depth on Monday night at 6 p.m. So please make sure you read it. It's not that long. Read it before you come. If you can't attend, make sure that you watch the recording either later Monday night or on Tuesday morning so that you can complete your first discussion forum post, which is due on Tuesday. It'll be all about what we talk about on Monday night. All right. And notice this is a picture of Bab when she wrote the novel. And this is a picture of Bab, well, not quite. She was a little bit older, but about the time she finally published it. So what we're going to be doing for the rest of the semester in this class is we are going to be writing an argumentative research paper. So what you've been working on so far on these topics of natural disasters or immigration, agricultural business in California, the Dust Bowl, global warming, the New Deal, land runs, the Great Depression, environmental catastrophes, Turner's frontier thesis, Sonora Babb, or John Steinbeck, those are all topics that you can write your research paper on. And those topics, as you've discovered, have a lot of subtopics within them. So hopefully by now you've chosen which topic you want to work on. If right now you're kind of, I don't know what to work on, it's time for you to have an appointment with me, okay? Remember, I have office hours on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning, but I also am available at other times. So if you watch this lecture today and you think, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to write about, send me an email, okay? So your argumentative research paper, which will not be due for a long time, you guys. We're going to be writing it in pieces throughout the semester, so nobody panic. But it will be 8 to 10 double-spaced pages. It will be typed in Times New Roman 12-point font, and you will use MLA format. There's a sample paper in chapter 20, which I like to call the golden chapter, okay, because it has this gold edge here. If you go to the back of this chapter, there is a sample paper that's MLA style, okay? It begins on page 350, okay? When you format a paper in MLA style, you use a heading on the left-hand side that includes your name, your full name, first name, last name. You don't have to reverse them, okay? My name. You can either call me Professor Dunkel or Dr. Dunkel, okay? And you can put Professor Iris Dunkel or Dr. Iris Dunkel as well, either way, okay? Then you put the name of our class, English 120. And then you put the due date that this is due, okay? On the right-hand side, you are going, in the top right-hand side in the header, you are going to insert your last name and then insert page number. What I'm going to do right now is show you how to do that. Hopefully. All right, I've just opened up a blank document in Word. And just so you guys know, you can all get Word for free, okay? It's available to everybody at Napa Valley College. When you log in, you know, the initial login, there's a login to Office 365, and that's free Word. So if I'm doing the left-hand navigation, oops, that's the header. I'm going to start on the page. I'm going to make sure that I'm in Times New Roman, 12-point font, okay? And I'm going to put my name. Then beneath it, I'm going to put Professor Dunkel. And then I'm going to put English 120, which is our class. And then I'm going to put the due date. Okay, so there's a funny way that you format the date. So if this is due on the 17th of September, this is how I'm going to write it. Date, month, year, okay? Now, for the right-hand side, for the heading on the right-hand side, you are going to double-click right here, and it'll open up the header. You want to go to this drop-down menu that says Insert Page Number, top of page, plain number 3, and it'll insert a number. Now notice that's the wrong font, so go to Home, Times New Roman, 12-point font. And you also want to put in your last name. Again, Times New Roman, 12-point font. So what that does, when I close it, if I hit enter, every page, you guys, is going to have another numbered page. It'll automatically go up in numbers. So Dunkel 3, Dunkel 4, Dunkel 5, okay? You do not have to put the left-hand header on any page except for the first page. What else you do is you're going to put a title. The title goes directly below the bottom of the left-hand header. And let's say I'm doing something about the Great Depression, the Dust Bowl. So what we can learn from the Dust Bowl in 2020, okay? And I'm going to select that, and I'm going to center it. That's it. Now, notice that it's not bold, right? Notice it's not research paper, right? It's an exciting title, right? It tells me kind of grabs my reader on what this is going to be. All right, the first paragraph, you're going to hit tab and indent. So this is the first sentence, right? I continue. When I put in the next line, it'll wrap like that. And I want to make sure I highlight this, right click, go to paragraph, and I want to make it double spaced. Okay? That's just a quick preview on how to do MLA formatted papers, okay? Your paper this week, I will expect you to use MLA formatting. All right, back to the argumentative research paper. So your overall requirements for this paper, and remember, this paper is not due yet, okay? This is just what you're going to be doing eventually, okay? Your paper must have at least 6 academic sources. Now remember, a few weeks ago, we talked about what is an academic source, right? That is something that is written by an expert, okay? And it's published in a reliable source, one that is either peer-reviewed or somehow esteemed, one that's not going to have bias, okay? you're going to refer to those academic sources using MLA in-text citations and a works cited page at the end of your paper. Don't worry, we're going to be going over that. You must have a bibliography, which is different from your works cited page. We'll talk about that as well, but your works cited is where you cite everything that you're quoting in your paper. The bibliography is where you cite everything you've come across in your research. That's why, as we move forward, you want to keep really good notes, okay? Your paper must have an introduction where you introduce your topic and you have a focused thesis that clearly states the topic you're writing about and the position you are arguing about this topic. This is an argumentative research paper, okay? You have to find an issue that you can argue. Has to have two sides. Which brings me to the body paragraphs, and that's where you're going to introduce all the subtopics about that topic that you're writing about, and you're going to prove your thesis by using evidence from your sources to support what you're writing, okay? Your paper must include counter arguments. Those are the arguments that are against yours. You need to bring them up and talk about them. And then your paper needs to have a conclusion where you clearly state, have you proven your thesis in your paper, okay? But this is a basic structure of the research essay. The introduction is 2 to 3 paragraphs long. It begins with a hook that grabs the reader, and we'll talk about how you're going to construct that. We'll do a whole week on the introduction, you guys. And you're going to introduce the history of your topic, something we're going to be working on writing this week. And then you're going to frame your argument. How, why is this a big deal? Why should we be caring? And then you're going to introduce your thesis, okay? Then you'll have 5 to 10 body paragraphs. And in these, you're going to introduce at least 3 subtopics. And these are different topics within your topic that you're going to talk about in order to prove your thesis. And in these, you're going to use evidence. That's quotations and paraphrases from your sources. And you need 2 different sources in each subtopic. You'll talk about, I already talked about what counter arguments are, and those can either happen in each body paragraph or in a paragraph on their own. Then the conclusion, right? You're going to restate all the main points that you've made in your paper. You're going to restate the evidence that you've used to prove your points, and you're going to end by reinforcing your message and sharing your final thoughts on the topic. And we'll talk about, again, we'll have a whole week on conclusions, okay? But you're not going to tell me something like, I believe or I feel. It's going to be a very different type of writing. Your works cited page, we're going to work on how to write citations, and your bibliography, like I said, it's a little different from your works cited page, but citations are very similar. So this is the timeline for your research project. This week, we'll be working on the research topic paper, which I'll bring up at the end of this lecture. Then next week, we'll start working on your annotated bibliography, which will be due in week 7. In week 9, you'll be creating an outline. In week 11, you'll be developing body paragraphs. In week 12, we'll write introductions. In week 13, we'll work on our conclusions. And in week 14, you're going to have your first draft due, and we'll have one-on-one conferences to talk through those drafts. Week 15 is a self-review. Week 16 is a peer review. And then week 17 is your final draft. All right, so our learning unit this week is about summary and paraphrase, which is something you're going to be using right away in the paper you're turning in this week. So we're going to be focusing on how to work with all of these sources that you're going to be finding, okay, when you're doing this research. We'll learn how to create concise summaries and how to paraphrase our sources in order to avoid plagiarizing, like stealing someone else's work, okay? Please complete the following assignments before you take the quiz at the end. You are going to read Working with Sources, the basics. You're going to complete readings from the Bedford Researcher. These are selections from Chapter 6 and Chapter 15. You're going to watch the video, how to write a summary. You're going to watch the video, Paraphrasing and Avoiding Plagiarism. And you'll watch the video, writing a concise summary, and I highly suggest you take notes because they're great videos, okay? And you're going to use them right away. Then you'll take the research quiz, paraphrase and summary. Remember, you only get 2 chances, so make sure you go back and review the material if you get a poor grade. So one of your small assignments this week is you're going to review the databases that are found on this page, and you'll identify 5 databases that you think will be relevant to your research topic. You're going to list the 5 databases and write a 250-word explanation as to why you think searching in them will really help you find academic sources on your topic. So let's go to that page. Look, there it is. This is, remember, you get here by going to Napa Valley College website, clicking on library, clicking on McCarthy Library, clicking on databases, and here we are, okay? You'll see if you look through here, there is a lot of databases available, okay? We've used Credo for some of our initial searches. You could also use it as a possible source. You can use EBSCO eBooks as a way to search for books. Academic Search Complete we've already used. Now, the New York Times is not one that you can use as an academic source, but you could use it as a source to get further information. There are so many different, if you're doing, this is JSTOR, this is something if you're in the humanities and social sciences, say you're doing work on Sonora Babb or John Steinbeck, this would be a really great place to look. Let's look down at the full list. So all the descriptions are here. If you look here, you can look at the full list, and I like to look at this one, and because it categorizes based on these different topics. So arts and humanities, business and economics, career and skill building, cultural studies, databases, education, history. This is good if you're doing the Dust Bowl. Let's see. Science, right? If you're doing something on climate change or something like that, okay? So what I want you to do is to go through these, read this information, and identify 5 databases you think you can search, okay? Remember, you're looking for academic sources. Okay, after you've done that, sorry, I went all the way to the beginning. After you do that, you're going to be working on your final assignment for this week, which is your research topic paper. So the grade for this is your first grade in essays and exams. So this is very important that you do well on this. It's worth 50 points. So spend a lot of time on this, okay? And remember, I am here to help. You can also get extra credit. Oh, this is a little Easter egg for you guys. You can get extra credit if you go to the Writing Center this week before you turn it in. So if you are one of my A+ students that is watching this video right now, Friday morning, now's the time to make that appointment with the Writing Center so that you can just have it ready to go, okay? So your research topic paper is the first assignment in our research journey. You are going to upload an MLA formatted document. Remember how I just showed you how to do that? Under the assignment project topic form that contains the following information. So you need to have a title. I know, doesn't sound like much, but don't title it research topic paper, please. Think of a creative name instead, okay? You're going to give us, this is the most important part. You're going to give us your research topic description. This should be at least 3 paragraphs long. And this is where you're going to answer the following questions in your description. What is the history of your topic? How is your topic debatable, right? How can you, what are the argumentable, like how can you argue it? Sorry. Who are the experts talking about your topic? And that means their names, not, oh, they're the authors of these, they're scientists, they're authors. No, I want to know who they are and why they're experts, what makes them an expert, okay? And then finally, why you are interested in this topic. Now, do not tell me the history of the topic in 1 sentence and then tell me why you're interested in the topic for the other 3 paragraphs. That will not count as a good grade. The meat of this is the history of your topic. Okay, that's where you want to spend your time. You're going to use the work you did last week to develop research questions and refine one of them that you want to use as your solid research question. Remember, your research question is what becomes your thesis statement. So please spend time on it. Again, I am here to help. So is the Writing Center. Okay, so please use both of us. You are going to include citations. That means MLA formatted citation. Remember, chapter 20 in the Bedford Researcher, for at least 4 academic sources that you list in MLA format. You're also going to include a concise summary of each of these sources. These sources cannot be encyclopedias. Let me say that again. You may not use encyclopedias or non-academic sources for this. You will lose all the points for that source. Use the tips that you learned this week on how to write a concise summary to write the summaries. That's how I want you to write the summaries. And you might as well make these the sources that you're going to use to write your paper. So spend the time when you're in those databases finding really good sources. You're going to give me a list of 10 refined key terms or phrases that you can use for searching or that you have used for searching. And they should be different than the ones you turned in with your research journal 2 weeks ago. So hopefully you've learned something as you've gone along in this process. Then finally, you're going to include your research project timeline. Remember from last week, that document that you saw that I said, oh, don't worry, we're going to use it next week. Well, it's next week now, and you're going to be using it. All of this is due on September 17th at 11:59 p.m. So it's a big week, you guys. Lots to do. Manage your time. If you have questions, reach out to me. I am only an email away. All right, I'll see you guys online.